Hey, I am Jess, and I'm obsessed with all things nutrition, science, and helping you navigate this information while maintaining a deep sense of peace and empowerment in your body. I'm a registered dietitian who started out with an eating disorder and then fell in love with learning about how God intricately designed our bodies to be resilient and so much more than superficially beautiful. I am now a mama who loves to be healthy, not because of how it makes me look, but because of how it has transformed the energy I can give to my family, my friends, and you. On this show, we hit on real talk around the latest nutrition science and body image resiliency, all while balancing it between grit and grace. Think of this as your weekly audio coffee to encourage your empowered eating journey. This is the Fuel Her Awesome podcast. Well, hey there, friend. I hope you are having a beautiful day. I'm excited to have this conversation with you because this is actually a conversation I've had with several friends over the last few weeks. So I thought, you know what? If I'm having this conversation on repeat with my friends, I need to have it on here with you, friend. So today we are going to be talking about all the different functional beverages that are on the market. We have these prebiotic sodas in all sorts of flavors and colors. I mean, it's pretty expansive how quickly this market has blown up. And then we also have kombuchas and these fancy mocktails. And so today what I want you to take away from this episode is an understanding of what these different beverages are, whether or not you should crack them open, and understand what they're doing for you. Really, at the heart of empowered eating, I want you to feel empowered in the choices you're making and understand why you're fueling your body with what you're fueling your body with. And we're going to do that with a little nutrition education today. Sound good? Now, I have to tell you, one of the conversations that prompted this podcast was actually with one of my really good friends. I went over to her house. We sat down at her table for snacks and a beverage, and she offers me one of these prebiotic sodas. And I said, oh, yes, absolutely. Well, she pulls it out, and she kind of has this look like, I hope, so many people do this. They're like, I hope you're not judging me for drinking this. Because I'm a dietitian, I think people think like I never enjoy sugary foods, which is totally false. Like I literally cracked open the Star Wars Oreos with my kids yesterday. If you haven't seen these, they're really fun. You like open them up and you're either on like the good side or the dark side. And anyways, we were on the good side. Super fun. Okay, total rabbit trail there. But anyways, as a dietitian, I definitely am human and partake in some of the fun all-American foods that we have here in our country. And so anyway, she cracks open this soda for me and starts to almost like apologize for having it. She's like, I really like them too, but I feel like I shouldn't have them because they have too much sugar. And as she's saying this, I'm realizing that she has some misinformation in her head. And so we break it down. We have this nutrition lesson. And by the end of it, she goes, sweet, I'm going to buy all the prebiotic sodas. So I want to do that today. To start, I think what we need to do is actually break down and define what a prebiotic is and a probiotic. These are two very different items that are being marketed in these beverages, and they have different functions in the body. So biotic means living organism. So when we have a prebiotic, this is what comes before the living organism. So I think of a prebiotic as food for your living organisms in your gut. Prebiotics are essentially non-digestible food components that promote the growth of beneficial bacteria within your intestines. So this is what like fuels the healthy bacteria that you already have. I think of it like feeding your little gut bugs inside your gut. How they work is they go into your stomach and they are literally like treats for the bugs that are living inside your gut. By the way, you should hear me talk about this with my kids. I call it gut bugs and feeding your gut bugs, and they're just like so weirded out by the fact that they really think we have bugs living in our gut, which I mean, I guess at a microscopic level we do, but in their kid brain, they're like imagining like ants and spiders. It's really funny, but it works. So we talk about how we're feeding our gut bugs when we have things like prebiotics. Now, prebiotics are in foods naturally. It's in garlic, onions, bananas, asparagus, whole grains. A lot of these foods are fuel for the healthy bacteria that you already have. Some of the sodas, like the Poppy, the Olipop, all of these sodas that you're seeing provide prebiotics. So it's fiber. Now, one of the things to look out for is the amount of fiber in these prebiotic beverages. This same friend that I was talking to, she had been drinking quite a few of them. I mean, if you've had them, they're delicious. And that is what she had eliminated. And I said, well, how many were you drinking? She said, oh, like 3 or 4 a day. And I just kind of chuckled because I was like, were you farting all day long? And she goes, oh, yeah, I was really bloated. Because these prebiotics are fuel for your gut bugs, they tend to have quite a bit of fermentation happening within the gut. Now, a little bit is totally awesome, but a lot can definitely cause some bubbles in there. And you're going to be having some toots that follow. So a lot of these sodas have anywhere between 5 and 10 grams of fiber. And 1 might be awesome, 4 is going to be a lot. In fact, some of the studies that have been done on these show that having above 30 grams of this type of fiber called inulin can cause an increase in inflammation. So we can have too much of a good thing here. 1 a day might be an awesome place to be. Another benefit of these prebiotic sodas is that they tend to be really low in sugar, having around 2 to 5 grams of sugar, which is really not a lot. And so what I'm seeing in clients is they're actually replacing sodas or alcohol with some of these prebiotic beverages. And what an amazing gift to your gut to give your body this prebiotic fuel instead of some of those other beverages that might not be doing as much for your gut. So in this case, what an awesome gift. Now, I will say if kids are drinking this, we want to watch the volume. So I tend to only give my kids about half of a can of any of these prebiotic sodas because of the fiber load. Otherwise, you're going to be smelling your kids. I mean, I got these boys that already stink a little bit, and giving them a whole can of soda, of this prebiotic soda, is going to make my house need a few more candles. So those are the prebiotics. Now, probiotics, are the actual live bacteria. So the way the gut works is you have these live bacteria within your gut, and most of the food you eat fuels those gut bugs. Now, sometimes we don't have ample growth of healthy bacteria in our gut because maybe we've taken antibiotics, maybe we've been on certain medications, maybe we've been super stressed and we've had diarrhea. Like, there are a lot of reasons that our gut health can get off. And so in some of those cases, adding in probiotics, which is the live bacteria, can be helpful in, like, I think of it as kind of like laying some extra soil on your intestinal tract. Like, you're giving your body some of that healthy bacteria. It does have a transient effect. So in other words, when you take in probiotics, you're not like directly planting seeds in your gut. You're just like helping the healthy bacteria thrive by giving them some like extra members to the team. Like, they're getting in there with the gut bugs you already have and saying, hey, we're here to rally and digest more of the food that comes in. So it helps and aids with digestion. So these are probiotics. Probiotics are going to be in foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and kombucha. These are really, really great to have. Again, like when you're coming off maybe a season of sickness, maybe your gut health has been off. So in those cases, kombucha and some of these probiotic beverages can be awesome. Now, here's the thing with probiotics. You can definitely have too much of a good thing. And one of the things I'm seeing with folks that are drinking kombucha is the amount of sugar that comes with those kombuchas. Now, you know me, I'm not afraid of sugar by any means, but I do think it's important to understand where we're getting sugar from and be able to make an empowered choice about that. And one of the things I notice is a lot of folks don't recognize how much sugar is in drinks like kombucha, and then they're drinking them throughout the day, many times a day. And that tends to be a bit too much, which can then counteract the effects of having probiotics in the first place. So one of the things about kombucha is that because it's a live active bacteria, it actually needs something to feed off of. It needs a prebiotic. Well, in the form of kombucha, the food for that healthy bacteria is sugar. And if you've ever known anyone who's made kombucha, it's this really cool process where they have something called a SCOBY. You can name your SCOBY. Once I tried to have a SCOBY and make my own kombucha. It was a failed experiment. I named the SCOBY Pete, then I killed him very fast. I swear he lasted longer. I mean, he did last longer than like my first boyfriend, but he did not last long enough. So I now buy it at the store. But all that to say, when you have something like a kombucha beverage, that sugar is required for that live active bacteria to sustain itself. And so you're going to see that showing up in kombucha. Okay, so let's talk about actually drinking these beverages. Should we drink them? Should we skip them? How often should we have them? Here's what I like to recommend. First and foremost, anytime you're adding in a prebiotic soda or a probiotic beverage, we need to be in tune with our biofeedback. We need to monitor and listen what our body is saying. You know, I'm a huge fan of biofeedback. I think that is, at the end of the day, like I can say anything on here, but at the end of the day, your body has the final say. And this is something I live by. This is something I teach in detail. And if just a little plug here, if you want to know more, I do have a free biofeedback boss workshop. I'll link that in the show notes for you. But at the end of the day, your body knows best. And so we're going to listen to it. And we're going to balance that with some knowledge here. So going into this, what I would want you to do is add in some of these beverages and then watch what happens. What happens with your gut health? What happens with your bloating or lack thereof? I usually recommend, if you have these beverages, limit to 1 per day and don't double up. So if you are someone like me that is addicted to drinking beverages, coffee, tea, probiotics, like whatever it is, I just love having something in the cup. I have to strategize. And so having a prebiotic, actually first would be cool to have a probiotic beverage. So if we had a kombucha first, and then later on in the evening grabbed one of our prebiotic sodas, we're actually doing a huge favor for our gut health because we're giving it that live active bacteria and then giving it food to follow. Now, again, with this being said, when you add these things into your diet, I want you to watch your bowel movement within the next 24 hours. What happens the next day? Like, is your gut healthier, or do you notice cramping, bloating, loose stool? Anything like that would be an indication that these are not the best things to have. Most of the people I work with, myself included, we don't get enough fiber. So these prebiotic beverages are a really great way to give our body a boost in that fiber that we are just not getting enough of from food. One of the things I really like about these prebiotic sodas is that they're often enriched with a specific type of fiber called inulin, which is, are you ready for some big words? You ready? Fructooligosaccharides, FOS, and galactooligosaccharides, GOS. So FOS and GOS, they're specific prebiotics that have been shown to be beneficial in actually promoting specific strains within your gut, like bifidobacteria and lactobacilli. Am I losing you, or are you still with me? It's some big words here. All that to say, those sodas feed the really healthy bacteria in your gut. And so I like having those prebiotic sodas as a treat because not only is it a treat to my taste buds, but it is a treat to my gut bugs. And when my gut bugs are happy, guess what? My stomach's happy and my brain is happier. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm seeing as a benefit from some of these beverages on the market is that we are now giving our body tools to have better mental health, clearer brain chemistry. It's just awesome. So the research suggests that prebiotic beverages can actually enhance our immune response by supporting those beneficial bacteria in our gut, because it gives them food. And those food, when our healthy bacteria digest those, we get these byproducts that then circulate within our body that help boost our immune system and our mental health. So sign me up for both of those. One of the other benefits that comes with some of these probiotic beverages is that it can actually help lower our hunger hormones. And so in many of us who struggle with feeling hungry all the time, maybe we have some fears of being hungry, having a higher fiber intake in the form of these beverages and or food can help regulate some of that hunger so that we don't feel like, we're going to eat the farm all the time. On the flip side, if you're an athlete that doesn't feel hungry and needs to eat more, guess what? this might not be an awesome beverage for you because it's going to make you feel more full when actually you need more fuel. So that's where we have to really filter this through our own experience, our own needs, our own goals, and make an empowered decision. So all this to say, what I want you guys to take away today is the difference between pre and probiotics, understanding that these beverages are offering different functions within the gut. And yes, you can drink them. They're delicious. What I'm finding is that they're often displacing beverages that maybe don't offer any benefits to our body or our gut health. And so I think they're a great substitute, especially when we're consuming them in appropriate quantities. If you are thinking, gosh, I really like the idea of having these pre and probiotics, but Jess, I don't like these beverages, I have a product for you that's actually awesome that blends both pre and probiotics in a supplement, non-flavored form. You can actually find the link below in my show notes or on my website. It's a product called Sunfiber. It is a pre and probiotic blend. This is something I recommend to most of my clients that are looking to regulate their gut function. 30 days on this supplement and you are going to be pooping different, my friend. I would put money on it. It is an incredible product, but you can add this to basically anything. You can add it to water if you just want to chug it in water. I tend to like, when I'm having any GI issues, I'll actually add this to my Polar Joe. You know, I'm a huge fan of Polar Joe. If you haven't heard of me talk about it, it's protein and coffee mixed together. Doesn't taste like a protein shake, tastes like an iced coffee, but it gives you 20 grams of protein. Awesome beverage. So I actually like to mix my Sunfiber in my Polar Joe as my afternoon snack anytime my gut function is off. And this is another way to get those pre and probiotics in your daily rhythm if you're not a fan, if you're not vibing with these new beverages. But if you are, hey, snag them. They're all over the place and get your fun flavors because you got some fun ones to choose from. My son loves banana cream. Ugh, I do not like that. I'm more of like your strawberry vanilla soda kind of girl. But hey, there's a flavor for everyone. My friend, I hope today was helpful to you. I hope you now have a really clear understanding of what pre and probiotics are, where you can find them in different beverages, and feel the permission slip to enjoy these beverages without guilt, without confusion, just as they are as you take care of your taste buds and your gut bugs. I am so glad you were here today, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. I will be dropping a bonus episode this month, the very last week of the month. I'm sharing a very awesome conversation with one of my most favorite humans. I have had the pleasure of getting to work with this man. He is someone that has spoken life into me this year. And if you haven't heard of him, I'm so excited for you to know him. His name is Bob Goff, and he is a New York Times bestselling author. His books are just phenomenal. He really radiates the kind of love that I hope we all can share. I just think the world needs more of people like him. And yeah, he's going to be here. I'm going to be picking his brain on how to fuel your awesome. So make sure you tune into that bonus episode the last week of the month. Until then, my friend, I hope you have a beautiful day. Cheers, perhaps with a prebiotic soda or a kombucha, and happy eating. I'm so glad you were here today. Let's do yourself a favor and write down at least one actionable item that you can take away from today's episode to start fueling your awesome. Here on the show, we scratch the surface of empowered eating, but if you're looking to dive in deeper, I would love to help you out with that. Head over to jessbrownrd.com. You can check out my free Empowered Eating Workshop. You can take a free quiz to see if your eating style aligns with your values, or better yet, book a discovery call with me to learn more about how to further your empowered eating journey. I cannot wait to be in your ear again, cheering you on along the way. Until then, cheers and happy eating.